Welcome back everyone to another episode here on Let's Build Twitter. As always, I am Ethan, or an Encoder, your favorite underqualified senior software engineer. And today we're going to continue working on getting the pop-up post to work, or the post that whenever you click on it, it shows the individual post. Last episode I went through and kind of refactored a bunch of stuff inside of our post component itself, that whenever we click on this, we're ready to go ahead and view the post. Today we're going to go ahead and get that post popped up, view the individual post, and then the next episode will completely wrap everything else up. With that being said, let's go and hop straight into our code and get to work here. So we're going to go ahead and start out inside of our pages, and we actually need to go ahead and create a new page. We're going to go ahead and create a page, and we're going to go ahead and call this view post.tsx. And while I'm at it, I'm also going to go ahead and make a view post.css. That way I don't forget. Let's get rid of all this stuff. So we're going to go ahead and do our normal stuff. So import React from React. I know we don't necessarily need to do this. I just kind of like to do it. And then we're going to go ahead and say export const view post, which is a react.function component. It's not going to take anything in because it's just kind of like our normal page. Then let's go ahead and just return a div really quick. So div, the class name equal to, and we'll go ahead and call this view-post. It's going to be very, very simple. Inside, we'll just say view post, and then we'll set this up in a second. We'll say post ? post.post ID or nothing. Again, we'll set up that post thing right now. So we're going to say const post ID is going to be equal to use params. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and get that from the parameter list, and you'll see this in a second. We'll also say const logged in is equal to use selector. Go and bring that in, and we'll say state root state, and then we'll go ahead, and return state dot user dot logged in. So go ahead and grab that user, see if they're logged in or not. And this will kind of come into play a little bit later on, just to make sure that we can view the post or whatever. I still need to kind of think about how we're going to deal with viewing posts. So I'm going to kind of keep that on the side of my head. Then finally, we're going to say let post be a post. I'm going to grab the interface here, or it's going to be undefined. So, or undefined like so. And for now, it's just going to be undefined. Next, we have const fetch post by ID. So what we're going to go ahead and do is make this an async function. Equal to async function. There we go. And all we're going to go ahead and do is say const request is equal to awaits Axios. Go and bring that in. .get backticks http:// local host 8000 / and then post/ID, and we're going to go ahead and grab that post ID. So post ID. So we're going to go ahead and fetch that post, and then finally let's say post is equal to rec.data. As you can probably guess, this isn't the final form of this component. We're going to go ahead and clean this up a little bit and make it so that we're not just using some random post here, but we got to kind of hold our horses here. We'll get there eventually. Finally, we'll say use effect. And what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to watch for the post ID to change. So post ID. So anytime we open up a new post here, we'll go ahead and say if our post ID, and we don't have a post, this logic, I guess, is kind of not correct. We probably want to fetch this no matter what. So I'm going to go ahead and say if we have a post ID, because the post ID changes, we want to go ahead and fetch it. If it calls it twice, it is what is. Fetch post by ID. And if this really breaks royally, we can go ahead and change it back. It's fine. Go ahead and import that from React, save that. There we go. So basically what's going to happen, we'll load in here. We're not using logged in yet. We'll need it in a little bit though. We're going to go ahead and see if we have a post ID. We should, because it's going to be the parameter, and then we'll fetch the post by that ID, and then we'll go ahead and post it. So let's go and hop back into the front end, just kind of see what we're working with here. So now if we go ahead and click on this, we should see, let's see what's going on here. It looks like there's something broken. No routes matched post/934. Oh, because we need to do one last thing. We need to actually add this to the app. That makes sense. Before we do that, let's go into the CSS. And this is dead simple. Say view-post like so. Width will be 100%. Min dash height is going to be 100 VH, and that's because we want to make sure it always takes up at least 100%. That's because sometimes there might not be that many replies or anything, so we still want to take up the whole space. We're going to say a border on the left. So a border on the left will be 1 pixel, solid, pound 31, E1, E8 I'm going to go ahead and copy this because we'll need it in a second. Copy that, and then we'll also say border dash right. It's the same exact thing. And then we're going to also have position will be relative. This will be important later on whenever we do some emojis and stuff. And let's go back into the view post and import the CSS before I also forget. And then finally at the top of this view post, let's go ahead and say import dot slash and then view post.css. Cool. So now let's go back to app.tsx, and then inside of app.tsx, let's go ahead and add a new route. I completely forgot about this. Of course, it's not going to work unless we add the route. So we'll go ahead and say route, and this is going to be path equal to /post /post ID. So that's going to be where we get our dynamic path or our post parameter, path parameter, and element equal to, and this is going to be our view post. So make sure we grab that. There we go. Cool. Close out of that route. Now, if we go ahead and try to open up this, it should work. So let's go back into the app now. So now you can see view post. I'm not sure why it's not showing the post ID. It might not have refreshed, I guess. So we might need to refresh it again, but I'm not that concerned about it. We see the view post. If we go ahead and console.log, let's see, let's go back into our view post. And if we console.log in here, just to make sure we got the post, should be fine in a second, but I just want to be safe here. Yep, we can see we have a post. I don't know why it's saying it's undefined still. It might just be because we need to like watch for a post to change as well. And then that's why we had and not post, that we're not infinite looping over and over again. Again, this isn't that important, but let's try again. Okay, yeah, I'm not sure why it's not showing up, but whatever. I'm not that concerned about it. So let's just move forward here. Let's go ahead and start on the next component. So let's go ahead and open up our navigator here inside of our features and post components. I'm going to make a post banner. If I could do this right, /post banner.tsx. It's going to make a post banner.css for the time being as well. Goes out of that stuff. So let's go ahead and import React from React. Got a couple things to import here. I'm primarily concerned about the import arrow back icon. This one's probably not going to show up, so I'm going to say at MUI / icons - material / arrow back. That one like never shows up. So finally we'll also import the / and then post banner.css. Let's go ahead and export const post banner, which is a React function component. We'll just make this an arrow function like we normally do. I'm going to go ahead and say const navigate is equal to use navigate. So let's go ahead and bring in use navigate from React Router DOM. We'll say const navigate, navigate home is equal to an arrow function. And here to say navigate to /home. So that way, whenever we hit the back arrow, we'll navigate back home. We'll say return, and we will return a div with the class name equal to post-banner, like so. We'll have another div, the class name equal to post-banner -back container. And then here, the on click will equal to navigate home. And inside we'll have our arrow back icon SX. We'll add a font size, size will be equal to 20px. We gotta do it this way. There we go. 20px, a little bit bigger. And then here we'll go ahead and have an h1 with the class name. I'll figure out what I did wrong in a second. Post-banner-header. And then this one just says post. So that one is simple enough. Let's go and do the CSS. CSS should also be primarily simple. So now inside of here, we'll say -post-banner. There's a little bit more here. So we'll have a padding left of 12px. We're gonna have a width 100%. Height will be 53px. We'll have a position, which is sticky, we're going to stick it to the top. Whenever you scroll, it'll kind of go below it. So top will be 0, left will be 0. Stick it to the top left. I'll do like the little page component. Display will be flex. Make sure we fix display here. Cool. Display flex. We'll justify content, and this will be flex-start. Like so. We will align items in the center. We will have a gap between the items of about 32 px. That is kind of what looked good to me. We'll background color. Now this one gets a little bit finicky up next. So background color, we're just going to do white. RGBA 0, 0, 0, 0.5, but it's going to be see-through because we want to be able to see the background through it. We also want to blur, so we're going to have a back and then drop dash filter, and we're going to have a blur of about 10 px. So whenever we scroll up and down in here, we should be able to see the background through this banner, and then we'll be able to kind of have a blur effect on there. So next would be post dash banner dash back container. So here we'll have width of 34 px, a height of 34 px. Make sure we make that 34. And then we'll have a border none, but we will have a border radius. So border dash radius of 100% would just be a circle. We'll have a display of flex. And we will just center everything, maybe. So then we'll say justify content in the center and align items in the center. And then this is also kind of a hover. So dot post dash banner back container hover, and the hover effect just have a cursor, a pointer, and it'll also have a background of RGBA, and then this should be black 0, 0, 0, and then 0.1. Finally, we'll have a post dash banner dash header. So basically, I just want to get rid of the margin here because the H1 margin's horrible. Get rid of the padding here, so padding will be 0. I'll have a font dash size of about 20 pixels. And then we'll have a font dash weight of 800. It's pretty thick. So that should be everything there. So now we just need to go ahead and add this to our view post page. So let's go back to view post. And here we'll go ahead and put it above the post reviewing. So we'll go ahead and say post banner like so. Thank you, React. I appreciate that. Save that. So let's go and just take a peek what this looks like real quick. So I definitely did not do that dark enough or light enough. So let's go ahead and double check the background. But you can see kind of what the idea here. Let's see what I did wrong. The background color should be white, not black. This should be 256. And this one should be 256, and this one should be 256. Now let's take a look. There we go. It's white, and it's not big enough right now, but once we're able to kind of scroll this, it'll be fine. So that's what we're looking like there. Let's go and continue here. So next we do need to take a small change inside the global interfaces. I already made one of these changes previously because we needed to. But let's go into global interfaces really quick. So last episode we updated, I don't remember what we updated. I don't know if it was the post or the feed post. I think it was the feed post, or maybe it was post. So post we add a reply to. So inside of feed post, we want to go ahead and do is we want to say reply to is a post or null. And this might break some things, but we'll get it figured out as we get going here. So now we're going to go ahead and get into kind of like the meat and potatoes of this one. And that's going to be to go ahead and create the actual individual post itself. So let's go ahead and open up our navigator. Let's go up here to our post and components. We're going to go ahead and say individual post. And then this is going to be /individual post.tsx. I'm probably going to spell something wrong here. Let's make it individual post.css as well, just to get that done. Like I said, this is kind of like the meat and potatoes of this. Let's go and import React from React. And we'll see if and when I run into issues with that null. I think that I squashed all of them, but we'll see here. And first, we're going to go ahead and set up an interface for the props. So interface, and this is going to be individual post props, and inside we'll have a post like so. And let's export const individual post, and this will be a React fc. Inside, we're going to set up a couple things. Const navigate equal to use navigate. We're going to have a const dispatch, and this will be an app dispatch equal to use dispatch. We're going to have const, and we might need to set this up. I don't remember, but create single view. I don't actually remember we use this because I think we ran into issues with this, but I'll bring it anyway. Use post actions, and then const navigate to profile maybe is equal to, and this will be an arrow function, and here we'll say navigate, and this is going to be to backticks. Whoops, still getting used to this new keyboard. Backticks slash profile slash $ curly brace post dot author dot username. And let's also make sure that we bring in the post. So this will be the individual post props. We'll go ahead and break apart that post. That should be fine now. And it's mad at us because we're not returning thing, but we'll get there. Finally, we'll have a use effect here and set this up really quick. So inside the use effect, we're going to watch the post to change. It'll primarily go from undefined to defined. We'll dispatch, and we're going to dispatch set current post. We're going to go ahead and set the current post reviewing to the post, and we're also going to go ahead and create a single view. Again, this I think is an issue because of the fact that we might not be logged in, so we don't have a user to send. So I need to kind of think about how I want to deal with that. We're going to make some changes probably on the back end, but it is what it is. Then we'll return, and we'll do our div class name equal to individual dash post. Whoops. And I'm going to go ahead and copy this because I'm going to screw this up several times throughout this video, and I don't want to deal with that. Then we'll have div class name equal to, and this will be individual post dash top. And unfortunately, we couldn't reuse this section. I wish we could have, but it is what it is. Then we'll have a div class name equal to individual post dash top dash right. And this will have an on click equal to, this will be our navigate to profile. Navigate to profile. And then here I have an image, the class name equal to, and paste that in again, individual post dash PFP. And I'm bound to miss something here, so this is a pretty big component. Post dot author dot profile picture question mark. If that's the case, we'll say post dot author dot profile picture dot image URL. Otherwise, we'll say default PFP, which we need to go ahead and bring in. So let's go ahead and bring in default PFP. So underneath post, say import default PFP from, when you go back to our assets, to the ways out, assets slash, and it's like default underscore PFP dot web webp. I think it says not being used, so that's kind of concerning, but maybe it's we use this. And then we'll say alt equal to, and we'll just say I guess alt, we'll just say PFP. I didn't remember if we did anything crazy. Cool, so there's that. Next, we're gonna go ahead and have a div class name equal to individual post dash user. And then inside here, we'll have a div class name equal to, whoops, individual post dash user dash nickname dash section. Inside here, we'll have a post username, and then this will have an author equal to post.author. So you're reusing one of those things, and repost will equal to false. So we do get to reuse something, so that's great. Post.author dot, and then a verified, a verified account. If this is the case, we'll say and then a verified icon. So we might need to bring this in. Verified I don't think we use SVG. I think we actually use icon here, and then SX equal to, I'm going to go find this verified icon, which isn't going to be very fun. Color is going to be pound 1D A 1F2. Width is going to be 20px, and height is going to be 20px. Let me go ahead and first let's fix this repost like so. And then I'll see if I can find this. Nope. Okay, so let's see. And I also screwed this up, so let's fix that. Let me go ahead and find the import for this. All right, here is the import for that. So it will be verified icon from MUI icons material verified. Cool, cool. Then after that, we're gonna go ahead and say post.author.organization. So if they have an organization, we'll say and we'll have an image with a class name equal to individual post dash organization. And then inside of here, we'll have src equal to post.author.organization.image URL alt. I'm just going to go ahead and say organization. I could probably do better. It is what it is, but that should be good there. We need to do that. All right, so there is a bunch of that. We'll have a p class name equal to individual post dash username, and then inside here we'll say at, and then post.author.username. So we'll have the username. So then we'll have individual, a div with a class name equal to individual post dash top dash left. And then here we'll have a post more like so. Post ID will equal to post.post ID, and post author will equal to post.author. So reusing some of our components here. And then now I believe that should close out of our top. And let me make sure we go outside of here. I don't want to break this. I don't want to screw this up any more than I have to. I want this inside the top, but outside of top right, obviously, if it's the top left. So let's go ahead and paste that in there. Go ahead and do that. So that is our top. So that means that we should be able to go below our top now and go ahead and do our content wrapper, which means we're actually almost done with this component. So that's great. So I have a div class name equal to, let me go ahead and copy this again because I am lazy and I don't want to spell it incorrectly. So P, and this is post dash content dash wrapper. And inside of here, we'll have a post content component. Post will be equal to the post. So again, reusing some stuff. Cool. Div class name equal to, this is going to be individual post dash data dash section. This is one of the bigger pieces that are different. We need a couple things in here. I'm going to go ahead and add the circle icons, although I'm going to have to go ahead and grab these as well. SX equal to height will be 4px. We'll have a width equal to 4px. We'll have a color equal to £657786. Close this. I'm going to go back and find this import as well. I don't have it in my notes. So let me go ahead and copy this. We're going to paste this below, and we're going to do some extra stuff that I don't have ready yet in here. So we'll do that in a second. And then find with p tag with a class name equal to, and let me go ahead and copy individual post again so I don't spell it wrong. Paste it, individual post dash data dash text, and then this is going to say views. So we're going to add in the views and stuff a little bit in a second, but just give me a sec here. And then let's go ahead and I guess bring in the circle icon import as well from GitHub. Okay, let me scroll to the top. Go ahead and bring in our circle icon. I wish some of GUI icons were easier to find. What can you do? And let's go ahead and bring in this once again. And then we have like a couple more things here, but we're getting pretty close. We're going to have a div class name equal to individual post dash divider, and then this is just going to be an empty div, and then we're going to have a div the class name equal to individual post dash action dash bar dash wrapper. And inside, we're just going to have a post action bar, maybe. Post action bar, let's get that imported. Post will be equal to post, and is individual will equal to true because this is an individual post. And then finally, we'll have one more div with a class name equal to individual post dash divider. Cool, I believe that is everything. Now, we have a bunch of stuff to do still for this part, so that's what we're gonna go ahead and do next. And I'm sure that there's something absolutely broken in this. Let's go ahead and import the / individual post.css. So this is why I kind of broke up these episodes, because there's a lot of work to be done in all of these. And if we were to open this, I'm sure it looks really bad right now. Well, actually, we can't see anything because we haven't actually brought it in. So I guess let's just go ahead and keep working until we actually have everything ready to bring into ViewPost, and then we should be fine. So let's go back into our code, and then we need to go into the date utils inside of our application. So inside of date utils, we need to set up a couple new utils. So below our stringify date, we're going to export const. We're going to stringify time equal to date. And this is going to bring in a full-on date. And this is going to be a string like so. So we're going to set let hours equal to date.getHours. Now there is a toString method. I just don't like the way it looks. So that's why we're doing it this way. So let minutes equal to date.getMinutes. And then finally we'll say let AM PM. We're going to calculate AM PM. So if our hours are equal to 0, then our hours will equal to 12, and AM PM will equal to AM. Easy enough. Else if our hours are greater than 12, then our hours will equal to hours mod 12, and AM PM will equal to PM. Okay, and then otherwise, we're just going to go ahead and set AM PM equal to AM. I don't remember the logic behind that. I just knew that I had an issue, so then we're going to return backticks $ curly brace our hours colon $ curly brace minutes. We need to check to see if it's less than 10. If minutes is less than 10, we'll go ahead and say backticks again. It's getting a little bit funky here. 0, and then $ curly brace like so, and then we'll add the minutes, and then otherwise it'll just be backticks. I know, a little bit crazy, and then $ curly brace our minutes. So either add a 0 to minutes or just be minutes, and then after that $ curly brace AM PM. Cool, I think that should be good, and I misspelled AM PM, so let's fix that. Okay, and then we're also going to go export const, and this is going to be stringify full date, and again it's going to be date, and this is going to return a string. So this is slightly different than the one above. So we're going to return backticks $ curly brace, and then months date.get month. And then this is going to be +1. And then we're going to say $ curly brace date.get date. And then finally we'll have comma and then $ curly brace date.get full year. And that's because up here we substring it instead of having the full month. Here we're going to bring in the full month. So that is everything we need to do inside of our date utils. And now we can go back into our individual post. And now here above this circle icon, we're going to go ahead and say post.posted date. As long as there's a post date, we'll say and. I don't know why a post date's optional. Maybe because I was lazy or something. We'll go ahead and say, let's grab the individual post again. So individual post dash, and then it'll be data dash text. And then inside of here, we'll say curly brace stringify This one's going to be time. We have to pass in a new date. I hate that we have to do this, but it is what it is. Post.posted date, and it should be fine. And then below the next circle, we're going to go ahead and say post.posted date, and we'll have a P with a class P, class name equal to, and we'll have an individual post data text again. And inside here, we're going to go ahead and say stringify full date. And then again, we'll say pass in a new date with a post.posted date. And then that just leaves one more thing, the amount of views. So we're going to go ahead and move convert count into post utils. I don't remember where we had this at, so I'm going to go track it down in between episodes and delete it. Let's go ahead into post utils, and in here, I guess we already have convert count here. Oh, it's because we need it in the last episode. Okay, fair enough. Let's go back into an individual post then. And here above the views, we're going to have a P class name equal to, and this is once again going to be individual post data text, except this one's going to have bold on it. So this one is going to be slightly different. So let's go and yank this and paste it. And this one's going to have dash bold. And inside, we're going to go ahead and say convert count. And we're going to go ahead and pass in post.views.length. So now, theoretically, that should wrap up our individual post. Now, I'm sure there's probably going to be some debugging I have to do. So fingers crossed is not too bad. And this is going to be a little bit of a longer episode. I apologize for that. Let's finally go ahead and, let's first do the CSS, and then we'll take a look at how it all looks at the end. Let's go into individual post.css. Cool. So let's go ahead and say dot. Let's see if I start with posted. So individual post, we'll start out with that. Then we'll go ahead and say width is 100%. We'll say height will be fit dash content. We'll say padding is 0. We'll say margin is 0. It's going to have a display of flex. It'll have a flex dash direction of column. It's going to have justify content of flex dash start. And we will align our items flex start as well. Dot individual post dash top. And let me go ahead and grab only the part that I want again. So the top is just going to be width 100%. It'll have a height of fit dash content again. Display flex, justify content, space between, align items to the flex start. And finally, it'll have a small padding of 8px. Next, we'll have our individual post dash top dash right. Top right of width of fit dash content. It'll have a height of fit dash content. And it'll have a display of flex. Next, we'll have individual post dash PFP. Here, width will be 40px. Height will be 40px. We'll have a border dash radius of 100%. We won't have a border, so border none. And finally, we'll have object dash fit, and this is going to be cover. Next, we'll have dot individual post dash user. Let's go and fix this dash user. An individual post user is going to have margin 0 and padding 0, just resetting the h1. Next up, we'll have individual post user dash nickname dash section. Margin will be 0, padding will be 0, display will be flex. We'll justify content flex start, and we will align items in the center. Next up is individual post organization. Inside organization, we'll have width of 20px, height of 20px, and then we'll just have object dash fit, which is cover. We're moving along pretty good here. Next, we'll have individual and then post username. Here, we're just going to go ahead and get rid of all the margin and all the padding. We'll have font dash size, just 15 px. We'll have font dash weight, just 400. And we'll have color, which is pound 657786. Next, we have individual post content wrapper. The content wrapper will have margin 0 and a padding on the left, 12 px. And then we'll have individual post data section. So we're getting closer here. Width will be 100%. Our height will be fit dash content. We will have a display of flex, justify content, and this will be flex dash start. We'll have an align dash items in the center. We will go ahead and say margin bottom 12 px, padding dash top will be 8 px. We'll have a padding on the left of 12 px. We're going to have a gap of about 4 px. Now we have our post data text and our post data text bold. And I don't know why I have the post action wrapper twice. Oh, that's content wrapper, never mind. So individual post data text. Here I have margin 0, padding 0, font dash size 15 px. We'll have font dash weight of 400. And finally, color pound 657786. Next, we'll have individual post dash data dash text dash bold. Here again, margin 0, padding 0, and then font dash size 15 px. I probably could have reused some of this, but oh well. Font dash weight 800, and then finally color will be black. We'll have our divider. So divider. Here, our width will be 96%. We're going to have a height of 1 px. We're going to justify self in the center. This time around, we're going to align self in the center. And we're going to have a background dash color of our grayish color. So E1, E8, ED. And then finally, our individual post action dash bar wrapper. Width is 100%. We'll have a padding of 2 px, 12 px, and finally a margin of 0. So now is whenever we just cross our fingers and hope nothing went wrong, because this is already a really long episode. And if I have to debug, it's going to be really even longer. Let's go and go back into individual post. Actually, I lied. Let's go into view post. And instead of viewing a post here, we're going to check to see if we have a post. If we do, we're going to go ahead and view it basically. So we'll say post, and we'll go ahead and grab our individual post. Post will be equal to the post that we get, and hopefully everything works. I might have to do some debugging here. If I do, hopefully it doesn't take too long. So if I refresh, I'm not sure why we're not seeing the post. We're definitely getting a post. Let's go ahead and make post a state, I guess. I didn't want to have to do this, but I kind of didn't plan this episode perfectly. So let's go ahead and try to make this use state, and this is a post for undefined. We'll just start out as undefined. Delete that, and we'll go ahead and say set post to rec.data, and let's see if it reloads like it's supposed to now. There we go. So I just need to set as a state. Now we can see this loads. We should probably put a loading sprinter there. I didn't really think about that, but this should all technically work more or less the same. Now we need to go ahead and figure out, let's get all the replies that are down here. We might want to make some replies to actually test that out. But like I said, this is a pretty long episode already, and we already had some issues and whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Everything helps out with the YouTube algorithm. If you do want to kind of see how this all started from scratch and then got to this point, there is also also a playlist in the description down below. So as always, I'm Ethan Uncoder. Hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next video.